Oh, you're so sweet, I swear. Te mando un besito.
All right, we're on Disco Basketball TV. What's going on, man?
Going on, man. Doing good, man. Great week.
Right on. Hell yeah, dude. For like the quick little small talk bit at the beginning, I rewatched. You ever seen that movie La La Land?
Yeah, La La Land. Yeah, I went to the movie theater to see that actually.
Dude, I rewatched. I love that movie. What's their Protomax? I'm sure I've told the story 100 times on the stream, but because you're new, I can force you to listen to it again. I saw La La Land in theater in 2016 when it came out. I was with my ex-girlfriend at the time, Calamity Jane. We were fighting all day. I could not remember what it was about, but I can promise you it was me being an asshole starting a fight for no reason. We were fighting all day, and later in the day she says, hey, that movie La La Land is out and I really want to go see it, so we're going to go see it. And I'm not a fan of musicals in general, so right away I was just like, and on top of that, because I'm mad because we're fighting, I'm like, oh, this is going to be fucking lame. I hate musicals, are so gay. I hate Ryan Gosling, blah blah blah.
Same.
We went and saw it, and how I was at the time, I'm like in my early 20s. I'm basically sitting there pouting with my arms crossed the whole time in theaters. I'm like, this is so lame. I hate this. This isn't even good. But what's actually happening is I'm loving the movie in my head. So I love this movie. And I just basically ruined the whole night for us. And then fast forward to like 3-4 years later, I'm in rehab. And when you're in rehab, you just write in notebooks all the time. And
yeah.
I used to write her letters all the time, and I have like a full page letter, a long complicated story now. When I was in rehab, when I got out, we were supposed to get back together, but so I was writing her letters, and I basically have like a whole page letter apologizing for ruining La La Land, and I'm like, I actually love the movie, and I want to talk to you about it, and blah blah blah. And yeah, man, I love that movie. Dirty White Boy, what's up, man? It's been a while since I've seen you in chat. How's Dirty for you? How's the streaming rig been going for you over on the sim racing? Let me actually, while I ask him that, let's pull up our first. I didn't really decide on what order I wanted to pull them up in, but I thought an interesting one would be I noticed you said, did grunge kill rock and roll? Did you mean hair metal or like rock and roll?
I think so that is actually a good so a lot, because that's what I didn't want people to get confused about. That's why I specifically said rock and roll, because people think like it's just such a simple, like, did grunge kill hair metal? It's like, in a way, yeah, but who has the songs that stood the test of time, so that's not what I'm like really going about. I'm really going about, was grunge like that, like final blow to like rock music? Because if you think about it, like after grunge, like rock music kind of took a heavy nosedive. Sure, it had like a few like popularity throughout like the late 90s and the 2000s, but like, did grunge kill rock and roll? And I'm gonna ask you what you think first, and then I'll just like expand upon it too. Yeah.
So my when I first started going back to older music, grunge was the first. Like I was obsessed with all of that. Calamity Jane, again, she used to drive me up to Seattle. We went to Aberdeen, we go to Seattle, we did all the Nirvana stuff you could do. And so the topic of grunge killing hair metal specifically was always a topic I was interested in. And it's kind of a two-part answer. So when it comes to, again, I'll just keep it to hair metal for now, I guess. Number one, basically, no, I don't think grunge killed hair metal or rock and roll. I think, one, all of the hair metal bands and the bands of the 80s, they were imploding as it was anyways. Even if grunge never came along.
Yeah.
Motley Crue, Vince Neil quit, Poison fired CC DeVille, all those bands were falling apart, because that's what happens when you live a life on a bus with 4 other dudes doing drugs and banging each other's girlfriends.
Yep.
Shit's gonna happen. So hair metal was gonna implode on its own. my next kind of answer is that no, it didn't kill it. So, there's that quote that says, it's attributed to Albert Einstein, but apparently it's not definitively quoted to him. But there's a quote that says, I don't know what weapons what is it? Fuck, I have it pulled up actually. Give me a second. It's about World War III. It says like, I don't know what weapons World War III will be fought with, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. Basically, World War III is going to be such a catastrophic event that World War IV we're going to have a hard reset. To me, hair metal was World War III and grunge was World War IV. I think hair metal is the highest that rock and roll could go. It was the most boisterous, most outrageous, most excess drugs, most girls, there was nowhere else for it to go. So grunge came along. It was a hard reset. It was okay. Let's go back to just 3 dudes on a blank stage in plain clothes because we've done it all. Like there was nowhere else for rock and roll to go. I think it's funny that rock and roll purists hate on hair metal a lot. So I'm like, dude, hair metal is like the final evolved form of rock and roll to me. Like Led Zeppelin, Robert Plant in that girl's shirt at the Madison Square Garden in Led Zeppelin, that outfit walked so that Vince Neil could run. Like
yes, 100%.
So no, I don't think grunge killed it. Grunge was just the hard reset that needed to happen. But after that, yeah, we lost our footing. We started getting into the last kind of little bit of rock was, like new metal maybe. And then we got a little bit like the Strokes came along and the White Stripes brought in garage rock, but
yeah, you know what? And that like to me, when I say grunge, what I do believe actually grunge killed rock and roll, meaning like, and not killed it in a way where it's like, oh man, like it's done, the death, it's gone, like there's no more rock and roll coming back. For me, it was like these guys got up on stage looking like they just got out of bed, look like pizza boys or guys that worked at some, your local gas station. There was nothing about it that was like rock and roll. There was nothing about it that was bigger than life. And I feel like grunge was that final nail, that final blow that was like, okay, as you said, how far can you actually go after glam metal music? Like how, like there's really nothing else to do. And so to me, a quote that was great I saw on TikTok in the comments, this guy said, for all of us that grew up in the 80s and like in the 90s, like the 80s was our party music. And then when we're hitting 30, the 90s was kind of like, okay, now what? Now like, what do we do now? Like, cause we had all the fun. It was nothing but a good time and it was drugs and overdoses and it was partying. Now where do we go? And it was like that glum reality of like, yeah, man, you're kind of an adult now. You're kind of getting old. You can't party like you used to anymore. It's like, where do you go if your life was all about the party? And I feel like after rock and roll, that no one was interested anymore because it was so boring. It was so glum. And then that's when hip hop came in. That's when house music really started to become a big thing. That's when pop music became, larger with the boy bands and stuff coming out. Like NSYNC and all that stuff, because it was like people want to see something that is bigger than life. They want to see charisma. They want to see a charismatic frontman. Like they want to see that. But when grunge came, it was like, this isn't what rock and roll is about. Like, this is really sad. But at the same time, I believe it was necessary to wipe out all the bullshit because like the glam metal guys kind of signed their own death warrant, pun intended. Because of all the, the late 80s, all the ballots and everything. And then people are like, okay, this shit is all the same. Like, what is new that's going to rock the world? And so when Nirvana came out, to me, Nirvana, can I add to this? This is going to be really controversial. Nirvana is not a grunge band whatsoever. Like, I heavily think Nirvana is nowhere near an actual grunge band. I believe Nirvana is complete rock and roll. Now, when you get to Bush and all that other stuff that came out, to me, that's grunge. But most of the big four were just like rock and roll guys. But it got to a point where it was like, okay, dude, no one gives a shit about how much you're, depressed. We all are depressed. All of our lives suck. Let's just go out and grab a beer. Let's go out and fuck. Let's go out and do whatever. because it's like, is this really going to be sustainable with rock and roll? Rock and roll is about sex and drugs. That's what it's about. That's the whole point of rocking and rolling. And when you don't have that and you take that out of it, and it's just about like how fucked up things are and how fucked up your brain is, it no longer is rock and roll. It may be rock music, like I said, which is a big difference, and it may have be guitar music, but after that, as you saw, no one cared anymore. No one cared anymore because, like, hey, if Kurt Cobain no longer thinks he is the main character, like David Lee Roth, Vince Neil, or all those guys were, if you're no longer the guy that's controversial and you're the guy that kind of want to just be in a motel and kind of sit in the back and kind of just like have a pizza with your girlfriend and just call it a day, and you don't want to be in the lights, then sadly in this world no one really gives a shit about that. And eventually that's why all the grunge artists are, well, most of them are dead, most of them are gone, and the songs that stand the test of time from grunge, to me, for people that aren't in the scene is, what is the famous Nirvana song? That was the only one. Like that Teenage Spirit. That's the only one that stands the test of time from that era. Unless you're actually into rock and roll and you understand the different Alice in Chains and all those guys, the only one that stands the test of time is Nirvana and that one song that he made. But if you look at the 80s and the 70s and the 60s, everyone can name so many rock songs from that time. You know what I mean? So I just think that it did kill rock and roll in a way where it like nailed it in the coffin, and that was it. Now, rock music did not die. Rock and roll died. That's what I mean.
So when it comes to Nirvana being grunge, first of all, I actually hate the term grunge. I usually just say alternative rock. I use the term grunge just because I'm kind of forced to. That's the word that society has given it. I used to argue with my friend when I was the biggest Nirvana fan on the planet. Nirvana's a pop band.
Yeah.
Nirvana's a pop band. Real grunge is Mudhoney.
Yes.
Like L7, I would say. Like Shit List is a real grunge song. Green River, of course. I do say Alice in Chains has some grunge stuff because Alice in Chains gets into that. They're kind of grungy. They're so dark and dirty. I like Mannequin Pussy. Mannequin Pussy is one of those bands that I do think is doing good in rock music. And Chick Singers are awesome too. Yeah, I saw that you saw them, Dirty White Boy. That's awesome shit. They killed their act by going on a 20-minute intermission about Donald Trump. Yeah.
What? That's one of my biggest problems, like, a lot, dude. It's like going out, because I know a lot of bands that I love, especially a lot of girl bands, and they go on about like, I'm oppressed or whatever, and I'm like, you're on a fucking stage at Madison Square Garden, like, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what do you mean you're oppressed? Or or let's use like Jay-Z or those people that are like, oh, I'm oppressed. I'm like, bro, you're a billionaire. Like, I would like, how many people that are white that live in West Virginia would wish they were in your shoes right now? Like, so I agree with what Dirty White Boy said. It's like, it gets to a point where it's like, you talking about politics for the next 20 minutes is like not gonna help. You could do what you want, obviously, but
yeah. The grunge thing, what was I saying? Nirvana is a pop band. I would agree that grunge was, I really think grunge was kind of the first time that music became, a depressing thing. Like, up until then, from the 1930s, 40s, all the way up until grunge, music was all about going out, having a good time. Like, that was the whole point of it. You go out to the jukebox, you go out to a show, you go out to a club and listen to music. And then grunge really came along and was like, oh, now this is very somber. And then that kind of continued into, I was just thinking the other day about how I think part of our generation, millennials, are so fucked up when it comes to, like, everyone's so depressed and everyone's so anxious. And I'm like, well, yeah, one of our anthems was literally I'm Not Okay by My Chemical Romance. Like your mom's anthem was Nothing But a Good Time by Poison. Yeah. Our anthem is I'm Not Okay. And the Black Parade, like, of course we're all fucking depressed. And I think there's probably some arguments to be made that music should be more of an uplifting occasion. Of course, everyone, every hair metal band had their ballads. Everyone's got some sad songs, but when like at least 50% of your songs are a bummer. Like I love Alice in Chains, but Dirt is like an incredibly depressing album. I mean, it's called fucking Dirt.
Yeah.
Before then,
Yes.
nobody would have
Yes.
named their band Dirt. That was almost like the point of grunge, was that like, hey, we all look like shit and smell like shit, and it's really fucking rainy up where we're from, so we're really dark and moody, and don't get me wrong, I love all that shit, but yeah, I do think there's an argument to be made that it's probably not the best for people's mental health to be listening to that shit.
No, I mean that, and you know what? I was just having this discussion with my girlfriend yesterday. It was like, dude, like, why do you think our grandparents smoked fucking 2 cigarette packs a day and had a glass of Jack Daniels all throughout the day, or drank alcohol, or came home and made a cocktail? Because eventually you find out, yeah, the world sucks, but if we're dwelling on that, it's going to end up fucking you up. Like that is what that like. You have to understand, if you're going to talk about, if you're a musician, right, and you're going to talk about problems in the society, the music needs to be more melodic. The music needs to be like, for example, if you want to use the Rolling Stones, like Paint It Black, or Sympathy for the Devil, or all those things, we're literally dancing to it. We're kind of like, ooh, yeah, this is fun, but it's some real shit if you actually listen to the fucking lyrics. Or if you want to use, like, a lot of the punk rock stuff was kind of nihilist, but it still makes you want to dance. Like, you're not just fucking like, oh, I fucking suck. My life sucks. Everybody sucks. You're not just doing that because it's like music. Keep it in a tune if you're playing the guitar, and you could talk about some real shit. I like to use what's the name? What's that guy, the singer in the 50s, the one that like Gigolo? I'm just a gigolo.
I don't even know.
He's the one like, I'm just a gigolo, and everyone I know, people know the plot. I'm playing like that, and he's pretty much in that song. He's talking about the comment.
Oh yeah,
so,
that's a great Molly song.
If you listen to that like the I'm just a gigolo, he's talking about how like fucking all these girls and just being a Rolling Stone. When you get old, no one's gonna want you anymore. But at the same time, you're just doing like this in the 50s, and there's people dancing to it. And that's what I believe they should do. If you're going to make music and you want to say some real shit, you need to have some kind of music behind those lyrics that is uplifting and not lowering your mood, but uplifting. But still, when people actually sit back and listen to the music, whoa, fortunate. One more, fortunate son. It ain't me. I'm no fortunate son. I'm no governor's son. Some folks are made to, raise the flag, but it ain't me. And when they were saying that, the music was still like, holy shit, CCR, man, this is amazing. So I think that's the problem with a lot of it, is they want to make the music and the lyrics depressing, which never works.
Dirty White Boy, it's funny because that's a great Motley Crue song. I've heard that those lyrics, the She's Only 15, I've heard or read somewhere that song is apparently about Tracy Lords, which if anybody knows,
no way.
And I don't know that it's true. I just read this, that it's kind of like a rumor. I've always wanted to make a video on Tracy Lords. Anybody that knows Tracy Lords was a porn star who successfully faked her age and like was published in Penthouse. Like somewhere out in America, there are guys that have Penthouse magazines with a 16 or 17-year-old Tracy Lords in them. There's a movie. I've got a shirt. It's a what's it called? I wish I should have worn. I've worn the shirt on stream one time. I need New Wave Hookers. There's a porno movie from the 80s called New Wave Hookers, and Tracy Lords was in it, and I'm pretty sure she was 17 in it, and they had to go back and take out her scenes. But this is after the movie, so like people could have movie copies or VHS copies of New Wave Hookers with a 17-year-old Tracy Lords. Yeah, she like successfully faked her age, got away with it, and got published in things like Penthouse. And Ginger Fox got in. I think it's Ginger Fox. Other porn stars got in trouble. It was obviously a big deal, but yeah, definitely different times. No, it's not Ginger Fox. Sorry, it's Ginger Lynn. Ginger Lynn was involved somehow, but Fortunate Son, such a banger. Yeah, Fortunate Son is a great song. I like some CCR. But okay, you know what's funny? Dirty White Boy, he brings up the "She's Only 15" lyric. That actually segues perfectly right into a topic that I had brought up. Was something that bothers me about everyone nowadays, the topic of separating art from the artist, and why I think it's a good thing. I was on Facebook. This is where I see a lot of bullshit nowadays, is on Facebook. And somebody in a rock and roll group or a page brought up Ted Nugent, and of course,
man,
all these kids now are like, I fucking hate Ted Nugent, blah blah blah. And it's not even that. I don't care about that. I like Ted Nugent. I love Cat Scratch Fever. But it's these kids who are going, he's a nobody. Oh, Ted who? No one even knows who Ted Nugent is. And I'm like, no, bro. If you rewind anywhere, hey, what's up, Annie? Anywhere like from 2016 and past, everyone acknowledged that Ted Nugent is a rock and roll icon. Whether you like him or not, he's a guitar legend.
Absolutely.
And now you've got these kids who are like, no, fuck him because of politics and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, so you can't separate art from artist. And some guy that was commenting back with me said, no, I can't, because art comes from the artist. And I said, okay, so you don't listen to Led Zeppelin, right? Because Jimmy Page was known for fucking kids. You don't listen
all
to
of them.
Yeah. So I'm like, then you can't listen to rock and roll. If you can't separate art from artists, you have no business listening to rock and roll. Or let's be real, hip hop and rap, because they all did that shit too. Or, let's also be realistic, just basically anybody in Hollywood, because everybody in Hollywood's a dirtbag. I make this joke all the time. Like, I guarantee you right now, like Leonardo DiCaprio has an 18-year-old girl wrapping a snake around his penis, like as we speak. Like, Hollywood celebrities are just weirdos, and you're going to tell me you can't separate art from artists? What's funny, though, is that the term separating art from artists, to me, isn't even actually what it really is now. Now it's just straight up politics. It's not even art from artist. It's because anytime you bring up Ted Nugent to these kids, all they talk about is his politics. And on a quick side note, I do have to say it's funny. They like to call Ted Nugent a draft dodger. I love when millennials or younger use the term draft dodger as if that's an insult, because I'm like, let's be real. If we had a draft tomorrow, 90% of you motherfuckers
will not be going.
You would be claiming anxiety and autism, and you would be dodging the draft. So let's not throw that term around like it's an insult, because 90% of millennials and younger would be dodging the fucking draft, and they would be claiming autism and ADD. Oh my God, my attention. I can't go to war. I've got anxiety, and I don't want to hear a single thing about draft dodging from these fucking kids. But yeah, separating art from artists. I think it's, and I think it's necessary. And, it's just, artists are just generally bad people. Like, they just are. Artists are weird, eccentric people that do weird stuff. They have weird fetishes and do weird sex stuff and do drugs, and it's one of those things there's not really an answer for. We talked about this a little bit, that just like a lot of rock and rollers are just, they're just kind of deviant people. It's just how the world is. They're not math teachers. It's just how it is when it comes to artists.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the point. It's just funny to see liberals go after, rock and roll today, because it's like, the reason why you're liberal is because of rock and roll coming out in the late 50s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the whole point of rock and roll is sex and drugs and freedom. That's the whole point. If you want to have fucking orgies, if you want to do cocaine, if you want to do heroin, whatever the fuck, even though I don't say do it, but whatever the fuck you want to do, you could do it. That's the whole point of rock and roll. And to me, it's like, every artist that you like, I don't care if you think Ted Nugent is an asshole, but you like Cardi B because she says fuck Trump. But did you know Cardi B actually claimed to raping men?
Yeah.
And then taking their money. I don't see anyone talking about that. You talk about, oh man, rock and roll lyrics are so sexist, but then you're like the biggest fan of like a lot of hip hop that comes out. And what do you think they're talking about? They're talking about bitch this, hoe this, shit this, fuck this bitch this. Like, so what I'm trying to say is, I agree with your estimation is separate art from the artist, because you never know what your favorite artist is doing. They may not be caught yet, but I promise you they're going to be caught one day. Like 100%. Like, you may think that Like, even though, everyone's friends with Taylor Swift, I know you're a fan of Taylor Swift too, but like, it's like we may think like, oh man, she's such a better person than Bill Cosby, and it's like, you don't know that. Like, we don't fucking know that. We don't know what she's hiding. We don't know what any one of these people, have in their skeletons. These people like have in their closet. I don't know. Like, I just think you should separate the art, because the music is what matters. And as a person that's an artist, it's like there's a lot of things that we believe that, or we just can't fit in with most of the world. There are things that I believe that I would never really come out and say, because it's like, I know how controversial it is to the world and to society and to what we're doing right now. And so if you like the music, like it. Never try to say, well, this person believed or said this, because you don't know if the person that you think does not believe that is actually about that. Because look at the Me Too stuff, right? The Me Too stuff, you had people coming out. I forgot his name. He was one of the Franco brothers. And he was coming out against Weinstein, like, oh man, he should lose his spot of power, and he blah blah blah. And then it came out that he was doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But people were cheering on, Franco, and saying, look, yeah, boo boo, like, and it's just like, come on, dude. Like, you never know what skeletons are in rich people from Hollywood, California, Sodom and Gomorrah, which is what it's been known for since the 20s. You never know what they're doing. You never know what your favorite artist is up to. So I just say, let that go. You know what I mean?
we gotta play We Are the World every time we start talking about this shit. But yeah, no, it's just such an ability that kids don't have nowadays. I mean, Dirty White Boy just said it earlier. Mannequin Pussy, he just said they played a killer fucking set. He loves that band. He's like, yeah, they went on a fucking 20-minute rant about Trump, and I don't give a fuck about that. But he still acknowledges, dude, they played a killer set. Like, you can't take away from, it's, and let's be real, it's always coming from one side. It's always one side. It's the lefty people that really can't separate their art from artist, or like I said, even it's just politics from artists nowadays. And it's funny because, yeah, a lot of the kids are like, Ted Nugent, because he just talks about politics all the time and he won't shut up about MAGA. And I'm like, okay, but we'll go to a Mannequin Pussy show and listen to their 20-minute rant about Trump and LGBTQ rights. Like, it's not Ted Nugent's not a rare case. He's just on the side that you don't like.
Yeah.
And again, if you don't like Ted Nugent's music, that's fine. But let's stop doing all of this, like, Ted who? Nobody. He's a multi-platinum, so he's a guitar legend. People are doing it with Hulk Hogan now too. Oh, I've seen comments. Oh, Hulk Hogan's going to be forgotten in the next 5 years.
Like, yeah, sure.
Hulk Hogan was literally maybe the most famous person on the planet in the mid 80s. Like, literally one of the top 5 most famous people on planet Earth in the mid 80s. And you've got these kids that are like, yeah, well, because of this and that, he'll be forgotten within the next 5 years. Like, you're just retarded then. You're either,
or like people talk about, people are doing the whole Elvis dated a 15-year-old, and I'm like, but these people gave you the music that you like now. You know what I mean? Like, everyone, like, there's this new thing in punk rock where people are like, the Sex Pistols suck, and I'm like, do you understand? Like, I know you think they, oh, Sid Vicious wore a swastika shirt or whatever the fuck, or Johnny Lydon now supports Trump or he's a conservative. It's like, but you gotta understand what the Sex Pistols played, like the part that they played to keep punk rock and make it famous as it is right now. Like, so you can't disrespect your legends. If you disrespect Elvis and the Sex Pistols, like, I don't respect you as a person that likes rock and roll. I don't respect you. Like, I gotta say, if you don't like his music, but if you're gonna say, well, I don't listen to his music because of this, and he was never that good anyway, you, like, to say that to me is like, you're very fucking dishonest.
Yeah, the kids,
very dishonest.
The kids today have no respect for the legends that make it pop. Like I said, wrestling fans talking shit about Hulk Hogan. Like, okay, fine, you don't have to like what he did personally. But you cannot deny what the man did for wrestling. You cannot deny what the Sex Pistols did for punk. You cannot deny what Ted Nugent, fucking dude, Stranglehold, dude, fucking Cat Scratch Fever. Like, you cannot deny a legendary.
Wango Tango. Like,
yeah,
come on, dude. Like, that's some fucking that fucks, man. That's so good. Like, how could you deny Ted Nugent is a good musician and his place in the history of, and not even Ted Nugent, him when he was with the, I forgot the band he made Journey to the Center of the Mind with, too. Like that was really important in rock and roll history, also.
Yeah, no, it's just factual stuff. Like you're arguing with fact. If you're gonna try to say Ted Nugent is not a legend, go look at his go look at his record sales. Like this is not, we're not even debating if he was a legend or not. He just was. You know, it's not popular to say it now, but it's just way too much. I think yeah, I don't know. These kids, there's just no nuance.
Or Michael Jackson wasn't really that good. Beyonce is way better. You know that new thing on TikTok. I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
Like, or Michael Jackson is canceled because what if he's? I'm just like, dude, really? You know, like come on.
I'm not even a huge Michael Jackson fan, but I still acknowledge the legend of Michael Jackson. My favorite thing Michael Jackson ever did personally is the chorus of Somebody's Watching Me by Rockwell. But I still can acknowledge that the man is the fucking Prince of Pop. Like I can still acknowledge the legend. I'm honest and realistic about this. The guy sold more records than fucking anybody. Like I'm not gonna go, oh, Michael who? He'll be forgotten in 5 years. Like no. You're literally you sound like an idiot. Like you know nothing if you think these guys are gonna be forgotten about in 5 years.
Right?
Yeah, no, it's just too much. It's just too much. All right, let's roll into this one. Let's roll into a trending topic. I have a tweet.
Oh boy.
I'll even pull it up. This one's fun. Are you a wrestling fan or no?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I've been watching since WWF days, dude.
Okay, right on. Dirty White Bull, you'll like this too. So Becky Lynch was on Monday Night Raw, and you know what? I actually have here we go.
But in Paris, a clash.
So she delivered this promo. We'll just play this. I will get copyrighted for this, but I'm not worried about. We'll go anyways.
Have your match, but in Paris, a clash. Because I am not wrestling in Birmingham.
He's so badass, by the way, Becky.
Yeah, the only good thing that came out of here died a month ago.
So yeah, that is context. They are in Birmingham right now when she's saying this.
But in fairness to Ozzy Osbourne, he had the good sense to move to LA, a proper city. Because if I lived in Birmingham, I'd die too.
Oh!
So Kelly Osbourne responded on Instagram and said, "You are a disrespectful dirtbag. Birmingham would not piss on you if you were on fire. Shame on the WWE for allowing such things to be said about my father in his home." So Becky Lynch is a heel, right? She's playing a bad guy. This is a problem with the sensitive culture nowadays. You've got wrestlers that are trying to play bad guys, but then when they actually go in hard on being a bad guy, this stuff happens. For most of the comments I've seen from wrestling fans are on the same side that I'm on, which is Becky Lynch is fine. First of all, Ozzy Osbourne, he's in the WWE celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame. He's worked with them a lot. I personally, obviously, I don't know the guy, but I think he would get a kick out of this.
Yes.
I think he would think it's funny. I think he'd say, awesome, cool. Like,
yeah.
He would totally get it. I've heard there are reports specifically from wrestling journalist Brian Alvarez, who always says he has inside sources in the WWE. He said that WWE is apparently embarrassed and they're considering doing like a public apology. Like Monday Night Raw might come around and Becky Lynch gets out there on the microphone and pussies out. And if they do that, it's going to be, I think that'd be devastating to have a wrestler go out there and apologize. Like, dude, she's a fucking bad guy. Like, why don't you just kill your bad guy character, you know, on live TV? Why don't you just fucking shoot her on live TV if you're going to have her go out there and apologize for saying some bad guy shit?
All I was going to say is, like, when I heard Becky Lynch, and then the one before where she was talking about, like, her divorcing John Cena, being divorced and stuff like that was also really good.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, the Attitude Era is finally back. People are saying whatever the fuck they want to say again. I was happy about that. But, like, seeing this, I'm really curious about how the WWE, how they're going to respond. Because if they do respond, like you said, with an apology, I think that's like a step back for what I guess Triple H was trying to do to make it more open, you know, more teenagers to be watching, more adults to be watching and shit. Like, I really hope that doesn't happen. But I would agree. dude, it's Ozzy fucking Osbourne.
Yeah, he gets it.
Like, I mean, he would get it. I mean, and it's just weird. I mean, fuck Kelly Osbourne. Dude.
I can understand.
She's always been a little bitch because remember when she's on The View and she's like, "Who's gonna clean your toilets, Donald Trump?" It's like, so it's like, fuck off, dude. She's just a little bitch that just thinks she's, you know, the best girl in the world, and she's not. And like, fuck her. She's a slut. I don't like her.
I can understand a little bit if you want to tell me, you know, she's still grieving. Maybe she's a little sensitive.
Yeah, but it's like your dad's Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah.
Your dad is Ozzy. This is not like President Obama or something passed away. This is Ozzy Osbourne who did the most offensive shit ever.
Yeah, exactly.
The whole point of his thing was shock rock. That was the whole point of his thing. And so if you feel offended by acting, first of all, it's not like somebody got on ABC News and just said something really out left field about your father and actually meant it. It's like, this is clearly acting, and you know it's fucking acting. And again, your father is Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't want to hear shit about what's offensive. What is that? Like, this guy did things to offend people on purpose. And I don't know if the new, like, I don't know if it's like fucking like Kelly Osbourne and Sharon. Like, they always been like really weird. I don't know. I never liked either of them. Even when I was watching the Osbournes growing up, I never really liked neither of them because they just seem like brooms are stuck up their asses all the time, you know.
Annie, I saw that. I knew that she mistagged the page. I did not know that it ruined a girl's life. That's hilarious. Some girl caught all the hate mail from a mistagging. You know, the thing about Sharon and Kelly, Sharon specifically, you know, I believe that she loved Ozzy. You know, there are the detractors that say she only loved Ozzy for the money and blah, blah,
Of course
blah.
not, man.
Because she would have divorced him and taken the money if that's what she wanted. I do believe that she loved him. You know, there are rampant stories about how she was a ruthless manager and she fucked over a lot of other bands and she fucked over some of Ozzy's old bandmates, like out of money. Like, there are a lot of rumors and stories about her being like a ruthless businesswoman. So I think she probably does some shady shit and says some shady shit, and I'm sure that rubs off on Kelly. So now Kelly's just kind of trying to have it her way. You know, she's talking about Mexicans cleaning toilets and wrestlers giving promos, and
it's like, who the fuck do you think you are to say like, oh man, like I can't believe someone said something. So I'm like, dude, it's first of all, it's acting. You know, like I understand, like you said, like I know it's fresh. You know, and it's like, man, like, wow, my father just died, and you're talking about like, but like I said, I think Ozzy Osbourne, who is what it's about, would get a kick out of it. Absolutely. Yeah. They, like, I know damn well. Like, again, this is also the guy who he was at a pool with Motley Crue, and he pissed on the fucking ground and licked it up, sniffed ants, ate the head of bats off. I mean, you really think that saying something, a joke on a WWE show would fucking offend him at all, even if he died?
Well, and the thing that's funny too is she technically didn't say anything bad about Ozzy himself. She really just dissed Birmingham, which is a classic heel move. You just talk shit about the city that you're in, so the crowd boos you. She said nothing bad about Ozzy himself.
No,
she complimented him. A Dirty White Boy, yeah, of course I saw that. That shit was crazy. Some streamer, Rampage Jackson's son, just whooped on a wrestler.
I saw that. Yeah,
that shit was crazy looking. That guy needs to go to jail. Honestly, like you
throw away the key.
Yeah, you got to go to prison at that point, buddy. You know, I understand pro wrestling. I understand getting your receipt, right? Sure, I saw the clip. So that wrestler he like smashed a soda can on his head or something on stream, and so sure he was owed a receipt, right? I love using wrestling slang. He was owed a receipt. So if that streamer wanted to jump in there and, you know, maybe give him a spine buster, give him a little move or something or whatever, give him a shove or one.
But he
punch.
beat the hell out the dude.
Yeah, but like 22 unprotected punches to the head is, dude, you can die from that. Like, and especially the son of a fighter, you know, he's well aware of the damage he's doing. You know what's happening when you're like punching an unconscious dude in the face. And I don't like that stuff. That's my least favorite things about like UFC and fighting. I'm totally fine with fighting. You know, sometimes I watch, I'm not a big fan, but when it starts getting uncomfortable to me is when we start talking about like you know, and I understand why they do it. So in the sport of fighting, you don't stop punching until the ref breaks it up, just because you never know if the guy was going to get back up. You never know when it's over. So you get those rare instances where they'll knock somebody out and they'll get like another 1 or 2 punches straight to the unprotected, unconscious face on the floor before the ref gets a chance to break it up. That's when I start cringing. I'm like, oh, I don't like seeing a straight up unconscious dude getting rocked in the head. I love a good KO, of course. I love a good landed punch, but once the dude's unconscious, and like I said, I understand why the fighters do it. You swing until the ref breaks you off, because that's the name of the game. That's the sport. But I don't like seeing that many punches to the face. If I saw a giant buff black guy with tons of cameras around him, I'm clearly going to think that guy must be involved in our event, hence all the cameras. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, this is weird. Like, if you're gonna, to me, it's like, do you think he has any mental problems or something? Because like, I think if I was in the his like in his field or whatever, and in his shoes, I would never. I know I'm at a wrestling event, you know, and so if the guy did that, if I would be like, all right, I'm gonna get this motherfucker back. Like, but I know it's fake because it's obviously wrestling.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't have, like, that. To me, that seemed very like, I don't know. It's either mental problems or he's a lunatic to do something like that to someone and beat the hell out of them when you could have just slammed him. But to beat him up like that, like, I just can't agree that, you know, oh, it's just because he's a fighter and he doesn't know better. It's like, you know better, dude.
Yeah, like I said, especially the son of a fighter. Actually, really quick side note, Annie, I saw a recent post from that guy. I don't know if anyone else knows about this. There's some guy wrestling for NXT. I think he's like in the developmental program. He's been doing this whole, Annie, I think it's fake. I think it's an ARG. I think he's doing a whole kind of storyline. He got a pair of shoes that had actual live maggots in them. You guys would have to look this up. Protomax, you might be familiar with this. But back to the fighting thing really quick. Dirty White Boy, you specifically. So Dirty White Boy is a good buddy of mine. Been in a ton of fights. He was the guy in high school. I'm not trying to hype him up, but even me being his friend, I never wanted to fuck with him. One of the dudes,
yeah, don't fuck with Dirty White Boy.
No, literally, I know this guy. This guy's rocked some people's shit. And Dirty White Boy, you have to know, right? I would imagine it's very obvious when you have a guy and he's knocked out. You know when he's out, right? Because this is my argument against the streamer that beat the shit out of him. Dude, you know he's unconscious. Like, he hit like 22 unprotected punches. Like, I can understand 1 or 2, and then you go, oh shit, he's out. I didn't realize that. But when the dude is clocked out, when the lights are off, like, wouldn't you know when to stop punching? Like, that's when it gets into overkill territory. And that's what that's what I'm not a fan of. Viraj is in incredible shape. He's Rampage's son. He's also an MMA fighter and looks like an in-shape wrestler. I think Stu is just trying to sell it. Yeah, because Stu went up for the slam. When he first did the slam, Stu, it seemed like kind of allowed him.
Yeah.
So I agree. I think he probably was taking that slam. He probably thought, this is something where, I don't know, some kind of angle, blah, blah, blah. But once the punches came in, even the slam was pretty hardcore. He slammed him right on the back of his head, but once the punches started, if someone counted, it really was like 22 punches to it, which was way too much, just overkill. You got to know when the guy is KO'd. It's, there's just no excuse to be punching people fucking 22 times in the face, especially in a wrestling ring.
And I have a question. Like, it's also weird because, like, why didn't he just do it right then when he slammed it on the can on his head early into the event?
Yeah, why didn't he just punch him right then and there?
Like, why would he wait until it gets to? So it's like, for me, it's like, it's just really weird. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's weird. It's just like weird timing, weird thing. Like, was this? I don't know.
At first, I thought the whole thing was an angle because I know indie wrestling promotions try to go so hard on their fucking storylines and let's get social media involved. But once I read the reports the next day that the guy like might be fucking dead, like I'm pretty sure he's like still in the hospital. I think they said he's like in stable but critical condition, like he's still like unconscious in the hospital. Once I read that, I was like, oh shit, okay, this is actually politics. YouTube channels are talking about it. There's like conservative YouTube channels that are talking about this whole story.
Whenever you see it on the news, the real news, that's when you know it's like,
oh yeah.
Unless it's Vince McMahon's death, which was pretty cool.
That's what I'm saying. You know when that, yeah, exactly. Dirty white boy. You know when they're out, and that's when they're the most vulnerable too.
Yeah.
And then throw 22 punches is insane. You have to be a loose cannon. Yeah, he's got to have some kind of like over aggressive thing, and he's probably not stable like 100%.
Absolutely not. No,
that's a violent person. And I don't want to start getting all pussy out here. We're talking about Motley Crue and shit. I'm down for a good ass whooping, like I was just saying. I'm down for a good KO. I'm down for a good whooping. But once he's
knocked out,
once it starts to look like attempted murder, like I'm surprised the dude didn't have like a fucking seizure in the middle of the ring. Andy, I don't know if you're still there, but I know that this is probably just like a me and you thing because I don't think anyone else knows. But I do want to know if you think that shoe thing is real. Because I don't think it's real anymore. I think he's just kind of doing his own like online story. Huge fan of Rampage. I honestly don't think he's gonna get in trouble. Have they said anything about Raja getting arrested? I don't think he hasn't gotten arrested. I don't think he's gonna. I guess the wrestler could press charges when he wakes up. He could press charges. There could be assault charges coming.
But I'm just surprised he's not going. Like the guy's not going to jail from just having it on video. Clear assault.
Yeah, that is
to
true.
me is wild. Like it's not wrestling. They're not faking. It's like he needs to like. They can't just say, "Hey, if anyone else was caught on video and you knew where they were and they did that, they'll be going to jail." So, like, I don't get it, man.
All right, I'm sure this one will be a quickie. I got to get my Taylor Swift in here as much as I can.
Oh, just kidding, no.
Taylor Swift. No, I'm totally down. Taylor Swift is getting married. Travis Kelce. I fucking hate Travis Kelce. This kind of ruins my theory. I was one of the people that believed they were a fake couple. I thought it was all Hollywood.
I still believe that.
It could be. So the thing about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce is I believed, what I always believed was that it was set up by their managers. I think Taylor Swift's manager said, hey, everybody in the world is a fan of you except for football fans. So let's get you with a football player. Because, dude, Taylor Swift likes guys with she likes artsy fartsy guys with long hair that she can run her fingers through. She likes Maddie Healy from the 1975. That's her type. She sings about it in every song. The guy with the cool long hair and the leather jacket. Like, that's what she likes. Now, all of a sudden, she's with fucking buzz cut baboon, fucking
dumb jock.
Travis. Yeah, no, it's not. No way. It's very strange. And he does think it's real. Protomax. Annie, type out like the best description you can for Protomax in the chat because I want to see if he knows about the story. The wrestler with the shoes. We'll keep having our little side thing. A wrestler in developmental basically bought a pair of shoes that apparently come from like a serial killer and it's all on the dark web. It's all lot to do with the dark web. That's mostly what I'm.
You mean like the brown like cowboy boot looking thing and they're all bloody or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I seen something about that and I was like, it wouldn't shock me if they did. It's on the dark web, right? So.
I've been on the dark web a couple times just for fun.
Yeah.
Just for fun.
It wouldn't even shock me, dude. They have a lot of crazy shit up there.
Okay, so I guess all I can really say is I told you I would try to explain my love for Taylor Swift. I'm the only one. All my friends hate her.
I don't hate her. I wouldn't say that.
I think she's a lyrical genius. I think she writes the best love songs of all time. I could put on Taylor Swift and she can make me miss any ex-girlfriend at all. And okay, yeah, so Dirty White Boy knows about this too. With Shiloh. But yeah, Taylor Swift, I think she writes the best love songs. There's an interview. So first of all, I fell in love with Taylor Swift in 2008 when she put out her second album, Fearless. And then I saw the Love Story music video on CMT. And I just was immediately like, oh, this is great. At the time, I was very into like neon pop music on MySpace, like Forever the Sickest Kids and Artist versus Poet. And Taylor Swift had a lot of crossover appeal. I love her old country pop stuff. I love her stuff today. Like I said, her love lyrics are I think are incredible. She had an interview when I knew that she really got it the way that I knew that she got me was there's this interview with her where she's talking about one of her songs. I can't remember what song it was, but she was saying that some of her lyrics are about, she says that everybody has that one ex that's never truly like, it's never really over. Like everyone has that one ex that they kind of always float in and out of your life. They're always coming in and out. I don't have that anymore. I am truly lonely nowadays. But for most of my life, I always had a girl that would come in and out. I wouldn't see her for months or talk to her for months or weeks or whatever. And then she would come back. So when I heard that interview, I was like, oh, I fucking love Taylor Swift. Her best love lyrics, she writes the very specific kind of love songs she writes are the lyrics that are about getting with somebody that you know is not going to be good for you. We've all also had that person where you're like, I know this is going to end bad, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyways. 8 months later, you're heartbroken. You don't get out of bed for a week because some shit happened. You know, she writes those lyrics the best. Like, I just, you know, I could do a whole video just like talking about her lyrics and why I think she's great lyrically. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I've always loved Taylor Swift. I
think she's, oh man, it's really hard. It's just like, I think she's okay. I don't hate her. I just think it's just, to me, it's like something's missing. Something's not there for me to like her. But as far as her like marriage thing, it's like, I still believe it's fake, to be honest with you. Like, I believe this thing is like, it's kind of like a publicist, because me being in Hollywood a lot, like, you learn about like a lot of crazy shit, dude. A lot of like shit that like you like, for example, I like to go to the Beverly Hills Hotel a lot. And what do you think about, before we go to, you know, Taylor Swift, Paris Hilton's boyfriend? There's like a big thing where the boyfriend's actually pretty fucking gay, and it's a cover up. And and Paris Hilton is also hiring guys to fuck her while the guy, her husband, is watching, because he's actually a gay guy, and they have threesomes with this guy. And that's fucking controversial, but I've heard that from people who actually are close to Paris Hilton. So onto Taylor Swift, because of that, it's like you hear about a lot of, apparently, from what I've heard, like, obviously I don't want to claim this because if Taylor Swift wants to come on this show one day, I don't want this to be a big thing, but like, where they have a lot of fucking orgies, which doesn't matter, obviously, but it's like, I believe if it ain't broke, don't fix it, you know, the saying, you know, and I believe that she's getting a lot of publicity. It's like perfect. You got a guy with one of the best teams in the NFL, and then you got one of the best artists of this generation right now, and they're together, and I believe it's working out, and they're like, well, keep this machine running, keep the songs going, and then eventually, bam, there's going to be a time where I believe he's not good enough for her, and it's going to hit a brick wall, and she's going to be like, all right, well, time to move on, make another album, and so for me, I think she's I'm not a fan of her music, but she is one of the best woman I've ever seen in the music industry, because she is so calculated, and you see why she has all the money now and why she has all the fans now, because she is a really good businesswoman, and so I give her that for sure. But as far as like the marriage, dude, I just don't believe it. I believe it's just, you know, it's still, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Keep it going as long as it's making money and giving her publicity.
Annie, that is a good point, especially since you speak from experience that, yes, she tried all the long-haired, cool guitar guys, and that didn't work, so now she went over to a more masculine fella. But Annie, I can tell you that your husband is not as retarded as I think Travis Kelce is. I do think Travis Kelce, he's putting on an act. It actually kind of happened on, he has a podcast with his brother, and Taylor Swift was just on it. And there's a part where Taylor Swift says the word esoteric, and Travis Kelce's like, oh, what does that mean? And Taylor Swift was like, you know what that means. And then she said, he puts on this stupid act. I don't know why he does this. He acts like he's dumb, but he knows what all these words mean. So there was this podcast that I watch every day, and this girl was theorizing that Travis Kelce is like a new psyop. She's saying that Travis Kelce is the new, you know how they're always trying to redefine masculinity today? Like, that's a big thing. Like, oh, here's what, like, people want you to think that Pedro Pascal is the real masculine icon, even though he's obviously fucking gay. But So this girl that I listened to was saying that Travis Kelce, he's the new masculine style. He's trying to convince guys that like being stupid and clueless and just supporting your girlfriend and while she's the smart one is like the new like be like Travis Kelce, like just be a just be a dumb buff guy that sits and says nothing and doesn't know big words while your girlfriend is doing all the intelligence stuff. And I thought that was kind of an interesting take. Yeah, Annie, your husband's awesome. Definitely. I would take him over Travis Kelce any day.
Dude, Travis Kelce is a fucking, like, he's so lame. Like, I'm just kind of like, what is to me, what is Taylor Swift fucking seeing this guy? Like, honestly. And I think part of it is being from Pennsylvania and you're being around a bunch of, like, those kind of guys growing up, I guess, in high school. So it kind of makes you think it's, like, cool or whatever because it's kind of a thing the media is pushing at this point, but like I don't know, man. Like, what do you see in Travis Kelce? Like, what the fuck?
Dirty white boy, yes, but you got to add MGK, and I know you'd agree with me on that. Add Machine Gun Kelly to that list of worst humans ever invented. The things I want to say about Machine Gun Kelly would get me kicked off of YouTube, like immediately. Like the stream would just
say it. I want to hear it.
Like the shit that I would, oh my god, if I ever ran into that motherfucker, if I went to Target tomorrow and ran into Machine Gun Kelly, dude, I'd go to fucking jail, dude. I cannot stand that motherfucker.
He's the guy that would pick on the rock and roll kids in high school.
Yeah. And then now he's all fucking punk.
He's the guy that'd be like, yeah, bro, like I'm a white dude and I'm from the ghetto, I'm from the hood, man, and blah blah blah. And all of a sudden he's like a guy painting his nose pink. Like, fuck out of here, dude.
Yeah, he got bullied by Eminem so bad that he had to switch up genres.
Give me a break, dude.
I just think he's a legitimate poser. MGK is like a legitimate poser, and I don't throw that word around lightly because I don't know what's in people's hearts and in their minds. He
clearly doesn't like it. That's why he always wants to kill himself lately. He's
just fucking terrible.
He obviously doesn't like being that guy. It's just the media is like, oh man, like, why don't we just push this a little bit, so people can shut up about rock music. And look, you got MGK here.
What's he like, fucking 35, 36?
Yeah.
Singing about, I'm in love with an emo girl. Bro, is she 14? Is that what, I mean, well, actually, we know he's cool with that. Remember his like famous comments from years ago where he talked about banging out like one of the Kardashians or something when she was 17? Yeah. And he really tried to say, no, dude, Led Zeppelin was banging 17-year-olds all the time. It's totally cool. And it's like, dude, stop. Like, he just read about Led Zeppelin on Wikipedia the night before. That Thrift Shop song is terrible. That is one of the worst songs of all time. I remember that. I want to
bump some tags.
Yeah, I always hated that shit. Let's see. Let's pull up this one just because this one's fun. Should the legacy bands should they call it quits sooner? Dirty White Boy. I'm actually kind of interested in your take because I know Dirty White Boy saw Motley Crue. I think like last year, wasn't it last year or the year before? Here's my take on it. Should the legacy bands, I'm sure we're talking about bands that have had hard fall-offs.
Yes, Annie. Exactly, Annie.
So like Guns N' Roses with Axl Rose, Motley Crue with Vince Neil. My take is no. They should tour until the day they fucking die if that's what they want to do. If people are out there spending money. So here's the thing. When people talk about OnlyFans girls, people always love to go, yeah, but she's getting paid though. Yeah, she's making her money though. Okay, Vince Neil, he's getting paid though. He's making his money though. So fuck it. If you don't like it, don't go see him. If there's a lot of hate going around for Motley Crue nowadays in comments too, and I really hate it. I mean, we talked about this last week. I fully acknowledge that Vince Neil is nowhere near what he was in the 80s, but the man is still a legend. Again, it goes back to respecting your legends. The man is a legend. The man is rock and roll at its best. The man has lived a hard life. People forget that Vince Neil, lost his young daughter to cancer when she was, he's had a very hard life. I know the drunk driving incident is a double-edged sword because he was driving drunk, but one of his good friends still died in his arms. Like, I understand you shouldn't be driving drunk, and yes, we should criticize him for that. But at the end of the day, his friend still died in his arms. Annie, Gianni's a real Hollywood rat. I was telling you, he's playing the Rainbow early in
pretty
September.
Soon, yeah.
Yeah, I know Annie. She was just at the Whiskey. What was it? Seeing your buddy's cover band, your buddy's husband's cover band at the Whiskey. I think it was a Doors cover band she was saying. Annie and Dirty White Boy have both been on the stream before. These are both co-hosts that have also been on. You guys should come back on anytime too. Dirty White Boy is one of my microphones too. I've loaned out microphones across the country basically. Dirty White Boy, MGK is the most soulless lost human on earth, bros. No, that is true. He really has no idea who he is. He damn near used and we're in rap music when he started music. Now he's making Travis Mills. First of all, I love T Mills. Don't be bagging on T Mills. I loved Rich Girls back in the day. That was my song. Yeah, Dirty White Boy saw Motley. Okay, yeah, he saw Motley Crue and Def Leppard in 2023, AC/DC in 2009, Rolling Stones 2015, Judas Priest, Heart, Springsteen. Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm on. And the other thing about paying to see the legacy bands, right? If I had the money, I'd pay to go see Motley Crue tomorrow just to see Motley Crue. Like I don't care that Vince doesn't sound the same. It is still Motley Crue. It's still a legendary rock and roll band I want to go see just for the experience of having it. One of the things I have to say really quick, just a quick side note, you always see a lot of comments, and I hate these comments about Nikki Sixx can't really play bass. He's always there's always tracks. Bro, if you think Nikki Sixx is tracking his whole bass at live shows, why would they not have Vince Neil lip sync?
Right. Correct.
Why would they have Nikki Sixx lip sync his bass, but not Vince Neil lip sync his vocals? No, of course he's playing the fucking bass. Yes, they use tracks. Every band uses tracks now. They have, like backup, like when they play Wild Side, they've got the gang vocals on the tracks. That's fine. But Nicky's he's playing the fucking bass live. Like, I'm sorry, guys. He's been playing bass since the 80s. Yes, he sucked at bass in the 80s, but he's obviously had time to grow and get better at it. So it's just Liberty
I got
Twitcher.
Something to say to that too. Yeah.
This is a new person, Liberty Twitcher. Thanks for stopping by with a comment. Not every band, but most, it seems. Give us some bands that you would say should quit. I was just saying that I don't think they should, as long as they're making money.
I would tell you this. So, I have like a love and hate relationship. So, but just to say, my favorite band is Motley Crue. By the way, let's just get that out the way. So, what I love about these bands is I think they should never quit, because it's like they're just so good. Because if you're an artist, you understand you can't just stop. Like, this is your job.
You get the rush too.
Yeah, you get the rush. Like, this is what keeps you alive. The minute you retire, like, you're like, what the fuck do I do now? Like this is your life. And I think that they should keep going and always inspire generations, because there's some good music. But number two, the hate part that I have is they keep going on tour with older bands. It's like, dude,
take out some younger bands.
Yeah, it's like, why do you think hip hop has been going strong so long? Because you have, Puff Daddy, and he has a bunch of younger people on his label. You have Lil Wayne bringing out Young Money. You have all these people that are bringing younger people and training them and bringing them up. The reason why Motley Crue is so good right now, or was good growing up, is because Ozzy Osbourne took them out on the Bark of the Moon tour and showed them the world. Taught them. And I think they need to say, hey, Steppenwolf.
That is good. Steppenwolf.
Okay, that's pretty funny. But yeah, like, it's just like, that's the problem. What I have with legacy bands is they're just going on legacy. Like, it should never. I went to go see the Motley Crue thing too, and I fucking hate that I paid $700 fucking dollars for it. Like, I'm like, they should be cheaper than paying that like they're in the 80s or something. But the other hand is like, it was Motley Crue, Poison, and I forgot the other, Def Leppard. Like, these people already had their day. Why are you? I mean, yeah, sure, like, it's a fucking fun show, but like, if you really care about rock and roll staying alive, you need to say, hey, let's go get new bands and train them and show them what the fuck is up. Because then those new bands are gonna help. That's what's always been. That's what made rock and roll strong. And so, if you look at it, watch Green Day. Look at Green Day. Oh,
I was just gonna say, this is a good point. What do you say about this from Liberty Twitcher? Most of the audience, and there probably is a lot of the audience that wouldn't want new bands.
Well, I would add that. I would say to that is, look at and I would disagree kind of, because Green Day. Look at Green Day and look at the Paradox. Green Day supporting the Paradox, and then you have what's his name, Travis Barker, all these older guys kind of helping the younger bands like the Paradox, and now they're kind of pushing them up and saying, okay, well, you kind of gotta give it to them, because I like what Oasis Liam Gallagher said. He said the consumer doesn't know what the fuck the consumer doesn't know what the fuck they want.
Yeah.
You have to fucking give it to them. You have to say, hey, no, listen, you're 60 years old. You're going to be forced to, your kids need somebody to listen to. And so they need to say, hey, and that's why pop punk is kind of back now, is because the pop punk guys are kind of supporting the new acts and saying, all right, here you go. Here's Warped Tour. And then we're supporting them. And so the rock and roll people, because I don't consider pop punk rock and roll. I consider it just fucking pop music with a guitar. But for rock and roll people, I feel like if Motley Crue took a band that was young, and obviously a good band, I'm not saying any band that's just fucking young and out there just making music, come to Hollywood. Like Vince Neil, Tommy Lee. Tommy Lee, you live in LA. Where the fuck are you? Like, why don't you come to the Whiskey anymore to see if you can find any new fucking bands? Why do you just don't care anymore? You know, why don't Nikki Sixx, or why doesn't Led Zeppelin, or why doesn't any of these people push younger acts? Ozzy Osbourne, look what he did with Youngblood. As much as I don't like Youngblood,
yeah, I hate
he
Youngblood.
supported Youngblood. Was like, hey, my blessing is on him, and then look at Youngblood kind of going out now. This is what they have to do if you want to survive. And so the answer to one of the questions is, I think they should keep going, because that keeps rock and roll going, and we all want to see them. And generations should know how great this music is. And younger generations are going to love the Scorpions because they don't have their own Scorpions. And so what the hate part is, what older bands should do is say, hey, here's this younger band that I co-signed. I found them playing at the Whiskey when I went one night. And, you know, it may be not, the stadium may be half full, the arena may be half full, and no one really wants to see them, but give them a fucking chance, man. And maybe the younger people would come. Because as, I think it was Liberty Twitcher, she was saying, the people, we're going to be the ones that live to see every rock star die. Like, our age, every single rock star died. So who's going to take their place?
So, I would say yes. I'm basically agree and disagree. So first of all, yes, I agree that old bands should be taking out younger bands, because that's the way it should work. You take out it's the same with pro wrestling. You put over the young guy who's going to come in and take the title. But I also agree with Liberty Twitcher, because I'm kind of one of those curmudgeons. I might. Well, no. I guess let me put it this way. I like what I like, and I don't like what I don't like. Like, I don't like Youngblood. I'll be honest about that. There's one song by Youngblood, one or two songs that I like by Youngblood. Did you freeze, or are you just staring at that? It looks like, dude, I think you froze. It does look funny, though. It looks like you are staring very intently at a comment. But if you can hear me, but you might want to, like, I don't know, maybe leave and come back in if your thing doesn't fix. I'll keep talking for a minute, though. But Alter Bridge. Alter Bridge is fucking awesome. Future Reenact in Europe. Oh, dude, no, I think Alter Bridge is big. Everybody knows Miles. What is it, Miles Kennedy? Everybody at least knows him. I think Alter Bridge is pretty big in America right now, as far as like modern day rock bands. They're not on the level of a lot of the legacy bands, but they're definitely big. So I do agree, like, that is the point. You should be taking out the young bands. But yeah, Liberty Twitcher, I do agree with you that it would be a challenge. You'd get a lot of older people that are not down for the younger bands. But I think with time, wait, Johnny is locked in. It looks like he was locked in as shit. That was awesome. Johnny, if you're still there, yeah, come back in. I'll click you right back in. If you can, just click the link again, and I'll get you right back in. I think over time, though, and I also think, like, being careful with it would also be helpful. Like, if a Motley Crue is going to go pick up a young band and bring them on tour, I would hope they put in real effort and, like, really look for a band that's really fitting. Don't just go pick up some popular band because they're doing well on Spotify or. Johnny just texted me. He says, "Computer shut off. Call back in 5 minutes." All right, we're good. We're gonna roll. We're gonna roll. I'll click you in when you're back. Conversely, I'm pretty much done going to legacy band concerts. Too many tracks, same old, same old. I don't want to get old with them. I've moved on to newer bands. Yeah. No, I can see that. I can definitely see people that don't want to go see the legacy bands anymore. I haven't really seen any older bands. I haven't been to a live show in a long time. My take is mostly just when it comes to the question of should they quit. People are always saying, "Oh, they need to hang it up." It's a free country. Do what you want. If OnlyFans girls are, if they're just making money, if they're getting their bag, then I would say Axl Rose is also just getting money. He's making his bag. If you're making money, keep making money. That's my only thing. I might not go see your show. I might not pay for it, but there are millions of people that will. So that's kind of my thing. It's just kind of, no, I'm not going to say they should quit just because they're not as talented as they were in the 80s, but yeah, it's an iffy thing, and it's a sad thing. It's kind of a sad thing to me. People like to crack jokes about Axl Rose sounding like Mickey Mouse. That legitimately bums me out when I see those clips of him sounding like that. I'm like, oh man, this guy, one of the greatest singers of all time, literally sounds like Mickey Mouse now. But I understand it's from the wear and tear on his voice. He didn't age so well. No one's as lucky as Mick Jagger, of course. We only had one topic left that we had planned. So now I got to wait for him to come back in. I'll just start on it without him. Gianni wanted to talk about if you guys think Green Day is actually punk rock or if they're sellouts. I don't use the term sellout too much. One, I just think it's kind of cliche, kind of overused. Two, because I'm probably a sellout, honestly. If somebody offered me $1 million right now, I'd probably say whatever the fuck they want, Where I'm at in my life right now, I'd probably sell out for $1 million for sure. So I don't like to use that as an insult. Green Day, I will say I do feel not lied to, but they did the whole American Idiot album. When I was a kid, I thought Green Day was anti-government, but now that I'm an adult, I've realized they're not anti-government. They're just anti the government they don't like. They're just Democrats. You're not anti-government. You're just a Democrat, which is fine. But don't portray yourself as anti-government, because the American Idiot album, like when I was a kid, I knew it was criticizing Bush, which was well deserved. But it really, I thought, was criticizing just the government as a whole, which I'm down for. I'm down for criticizing just all of the government. I don't like either sides. I'm on my own side. What's up, Johnny? Can you hear me? He looks locked in again.
Okay, yeah, I'm here. Okay,
perfect. Okay. I just started the Green Day topic. Basically, I was just saying, no, I wouldn't call them sellouts, just because that's not I don't usually use that term. But my thing that I've been saying is that I kind of jokingly said I feel lied to. When I was a kid, I thought they were anti-government. Then I became an adult and realized, oh, they're not anti-government. They're just Democrats, which is fine. Be a Democrat all you want, but I wish they would have. I don't know. Not that they were going to write about being a Democrat, but American Idiot, I loved that. That was my favorite album for a time when I was in middle school, and I was like, yeah, fuck all authority, fuck all of the government. And now I'm like, wait, no, they're not saying fuck all of the government. They're just saying,
fuck the Republicans. That's it.
Yeah, which is a fine opinion to have, but
absolutely, and I agree.
I just felt led on as a kid. I was like, oh, I thought you guys were actually just straight up anti, because that's what I like. I like straight up anti-authority, no matter who the authority is. If they're doing a bad job, if they deserve the criticism. That's me. Equal. It's all equal all around. If you're fucking up, I'll say you're fucking up. If you're not, I'll say you're not. I'm on my own side. I think it was Lynette Squeaky Fromm who, when she was asked, is Charles Manson left wing or right wing? She said, he's both wings. A bird needs both wings to fly, That's always kind of the way I like to go. So, I don't have a problem with them being Democrats. I just have a problem with them saying for years that they're just full on anti-government. And then it's like, oh, wait a minute. No, you're not. You're just anti one side of the government.
Yeah. So, you know what? Green Day. Okay. So to that question, is Green Day really punk? No, they're not punk at all. They are, as Johnny Lydon said, they're coat hanger. That's what they're doing. They don't write anything of their own experience. They're not. They're not punk at all. Green Day to me is a good rock and roll band. That's it. It's
It's
just
pop
good
rock.
music. I'm not gonna sit here and say, "Oh, Green Day sucks," because it doesn't. It's good fucking music.
I love old Green Day.
I
Don't get
love
me
Green
wrong.
Day. So Green Day is amazing music. It's amazing pop rock. That's why I also said that pop punk, quote unquote, to me is not pop. It's not pop punk at all. It's just good rock and roll music, and you just having a good time, and it's good music. To me, that's like the versus the grunge and all that grunge '90s stuff that was coming out. I think that Green Day was really that good alternative music that you can get. But what are they punk against? That's what I want to know. That's the question that I asked to all my people that would disagree and say, Green Day is punk. I'm like, what are they punk against? What are they actually going against? What can anyone answer that question for me? What are they going against? Or to me, it's kind of like the people that are into Green Day now, like people are punk rock now. To be punk rock in 2025 is a huge lie. If you paint your nails and you're a guy, you can do that. No one gives a shit. You wear lipstick, you wear makeup, you dress how you want. No one gives a shit. You're gay, you're a lesbian, you're trans disabled, whatever the fuck you are. You can be that now. No one cares anymore. And even in the 90s, it was kind of like you were mainstream if you did dress that way. Even though I know, like, you still obviously in most middle America you can get like picked on, but like, what are you actually punk against? The reason why the Sex Pistols did what they did is because they could be jailed over there in England. They could go to jail overnight for performing a show, for saying things. So to me, it's like, if you're gonna ask if Green Day is punk, tell me, what are they punk against? What is the point of them being punk? Or are they just wearing cool makeup and playing good music, which is what I love. I'm actually not into like the huge punk rock like thing. I love the early punk rock, but like, I'm not really into that whole ideology. I'm into like having fun and fucking. Like, that's what to me Green Day is about. And when they came out with American Idiot, it was really good. Like, I really loved American Idiot, especially during the wartime, with George Bush and like, all that stuff. But they're not a punk band like whatsoever. They have the whole like musicianship of or style of being punk, but they're actually really good musicians. And I think they're a really good musical band. But to call them punk rock, to me, is just insane. Like, it's just like, I don't know why they even are included.
I think that's the general consensus. I don't think there's really even a single person today that would say Green Day is punk. I'm not a fan of like the genre of punk rock. Like, I hate the Sex Pistols. I hate punk. I like the Ramones. I do like the Ramones. Yeah, when it comes to like overall punk, I like the Misfits, of course. I like Danzig more though. Danzig is his solo.
Yeah, Danzig is elite, dude. Danzig is completely elite.
And when it comes to like real punk rock, I'm not really a fan. I do like early AFI a lot, actually. There is that. But like overall punk, I'm not really a fan. But yeah, I don't think anybody actually would say that Green Day is punk, which is good, because yeah, they're not. They were definitely more pop punk if they ever were anything. They're just pop rock nowadays. I would just say they're just a pop rock band. I loved American Idiot. I loved that album when I was in middle school. I loved some of their earlier stuff, like When I Come Around is a classic.
Oh man. Yeah,
everything off of Dookie. Everything off of Dookie. Their international super hits is like one of the best greatest hits. We talked about like greatest hits albums, but their international super hits is a really good greatest hits album. No, when it comes to the politics stuff, no, they're not punk. Their view on politics is the same as the girl next door. There's nothing.
Yeah, it's just funny how they were doing the whole like fuck America thing in Dubai. I'm like, Dubai has slaves, right?
Yeah.
Why didn't you say fuck the leader of Dubai? Why didn't you say that? Because if you're really punk rock, to me, it's those bands. I don't know if you see those bands in Korea now, those underground bands in North Korea or in parts of China. To me, that's real punk rock, because they can actually go to jail for it. They're actually ostracized for it. That's real punk rock. Punk rock is not, oh man, look how much I can say, fuck the president on TikTok with my 1 million followers. Like, That's not punk rock, dude. Like, you're a joke. Like, come on. Like, stick to making good music, and lay it at that. But to call Green Day, because the problem is you see these comments and they're always like, people are surprised when a punk rock band like Green Day is actually punk, and it's like, well, they're not actually punk at all. They're doing it because let's add to this. All those DIY fucking punk bands from the late 90s that are coming out now, and they're trying to say like fuck fascism or whatever, which I agree, but like, it's like, if you're doing it because it's like a trendy now to do it. You know what I mean? Like, you weren't like in 2012 saying fuck Obama for bombing Syria or something. Like, you weren't saying that. It's just now it's trendy to say what you're saying now. And so I don't have any respect for any punk band that thinks they're so super punk now, because it's like obvious fascism. Like, they're not, they're posers, man. I just think and this is why I don't like punk rock as a whole, because everyone's like fucking hypocrites to me. Just like, go back to rock and roll,
That is a big problem I have with a lot of people nowadays, when like, everybody on the left really loves to act like they're the underdog, and they're fighting from below. They're the underdog. They're oppressed. They're the little guy. I'm like, bro, Hollywood is on your side. Like, all of academia,
Nike is on your side.
Yeah, all the biggest companies, all the billionaires, all of the people love to talk about how. So again, I'll diss on Trump all day long. I got plenty of shit to say about him. But people love to call him like the party of the rich people, the party of the bill. I'm like, dude, all of Kamala Harris's supporters were multi-million-dollar celebrities. Like, that is literally that is the party of Hollywood. What are you talking about? They're all the party of rich people. That's the whole deal. Is it's the rich people versus the not rich people. But people really like to do the left versus right thing. It's like, bro, no, more of the left is like fucking rich Hollywood socialites and celebrities. Like, they're the ones that are the rich people. But you guys pretend like you're the underdog. It all goes back to Selena Gomez crying and saying, "I wish there was more I could do." And it's like, there's a lot you could do with your hundreds of millions of dollars. But yeah, I can't stand the way they like to act like they're this underdog, and they're so worried every day that something, they're gonna, I don't know, someone's gonna commit a hate crime against them. And it's like, no, dude, like, you're fine. Actually, like I said, you're not even fine. You are the popular opinion. Like, I love when girls on Facebook will, just say some extremely vanilla, generic political opinion, and then act like it's so edgy and, yeah, hate me. If you don't like this, go ahead and unfriend me. Bro, all your friends agree with you. What do you mean?
Yes. And can I add to this? Because I don't want people to think like we're saying like, oh man, if you're gay, you're like the pop culture now. Like, no, we like that. That, like, we actually think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Like, we don't think it's like, oh man, like, we need to bring back a real America, or we're not like that. We're just kind of like, hey man, like, we won. Like, what do you not get about it? And you trying to force people and go to Ohio and say, hey man, you need to accept the way I live in Los Angeles is just bullshit. I think it's bullshit. And I think it's just like, you won. Like, chill out. Like, you can walk down the street in New York City. Let's use the New York Dolls. I don't know, are you a big New York Dolls fan, or?
Some. I'm not a huge fan, but somewhat of a fan, yeah.
Yeah, like the New York Dolls used to have to fight walking down the street because they used to look like trannies pretty much. And they would walk down the street in New York City, in the Village, and they would get their ass kicked, and sometimes they have to fucking stab people, and these people were fighting every day.
Yeah.
Now you can do that, and you can be the co-host of some show on CNN. I mean, so it's just like, give me a break,
No, not even that. Now, if I walk down the street dressed like someone from the New York Dolls right now, if somebody came up and attacked me, everyone else around would attack that person that's attacking me.
Yes.
Like, that is. And then you mentioned people from LA trying to go to like the Midwest and say, you need to live like us. No, let people in Kansas live the way they want to live, and you stay in LA and live the way you want. Like, that's the whole point of red and blue states. Like, move to a state that you like, how it runs, live there. I understand sometimes you can't or whatever, but yeah, the whole country doesn't need to think just like you. Like, that's why there are different states and counties with different laws and rules. Like, you go to where you want to live. But yeah, no, it is crazy. That is totally true. Yeah, the New York Dolls used to have to fight people because of how they looked. Even in like the 80s, you know, like again, Motley Crue, there's always stories about Nikki Sixx getting into fights with punkers. Like punk rock kids would always beat up Nikki
Or
Sixx.
Metallica, and yeah.
Yeah. But today that's just not happening. Like people try to, oh, I walked down the street and I was scared for my life because dude, when I go to Starbucks, I make jokes about this. Sometimes when I go to Starbucks, if I see like a dude in a dress, I'm like, if I laughed at that guy, everybody in Starbucks would gang up on me. Like they would attack me. Like it is, we are not in, it's that classic joke that like progressives can't see progress for some reason. Like they just can't acknowledge. Like, bro, you're the progressive one. You're gonna act like we're living in like the slavery times. Like, no, dude, like we've made progress. Like we're in a better spot than we ever have been as far as like overall acceptance. Yeah, obviously it's not perfect. It's never going to be perfect. There's always going to be dickheads out there. That's just how the world is. Sorry, there's going to be dickheads out there, but you just accept the progress that you've made. Roll with it. Dress like the New York Dolls if that's what you want to do. Go ahead. You live in California. This is the place to do it. It's I just can't stand these people acting like they're such fucking underdogs. Like everyone just wants to be so oppressed and wants to be the loser, and it's like. You remember that Jesse Smollett guy that made up that story? So, he made up that story about how
This is MAGA country.
Yeah, he made up that story about how these homophobic racists whooped his ass on the street at like 4 a.m. You know what I love about that story is that in the story that he made up, he got his ass whooped. That's everything you need to know about the mentality of these people today. Because if this was 20 years ago, and if I was going to make up that story and it was 20 years ago, I would have said, yeah, I ran into a bunch of racist homophobes and I whooped off. They tried to attack me, but then I whooped all of their asses. But today, everybody wants to be the oppressed loser. So they make up stories where they get their asses whooped. Where it's like back in the day, everybody lied about whooping ass. Like you tell all your buddies, yeah, I fucked up this guy. I beat up that guy. But nowadays, everyone's making up stories about how they got beat up because everybody wants the points. Everybody wants the sympathy points and everybody just wants to be fucking oppressed. It's super strange.
Yes.
And yeah, it's just like, dude, your views are the same as the girl next door, which is fine, by the way. It's totally fine. Just don't act like you're special. Don't act like they're unique because
please don't do that.
Like cool, you have you got a Black Lives Matter poster in your room. That's awesome. But you bought it on Amazon for $4.99. Like let's not act like let's not act like you went to a
and then you have a Black Lives Matter sign. Where's your black friends? Show me. Because most of them never have black friends. Every single one of them. Never.
Well, you know what I love about the Black Lives Matter people is it's always Black Lives Matter until the black person doesn't agree with them. There was this great story. I don't remember what YouTube channel it was on, but it was a black cop. He was a riot. He was when the 2020 riots were going on. This black man, he was telling his story. And he was like, it was very strange. There I was in my riot gear, all these white kids yelling Black Lives Matter at me. And here I am, a black man. Yeah, they're throwing rocks at me and they're yelling at me that Black Lives Matter. And I'm like, Black Lives Matter until the black guy disagrees with them. Then they don't give a fuck about you. It's
all about virtue.
It's all very disingenuous. They're all liars. And he's lying and sticking to the story. He has to stick to the story. What's he gonna? You can't come back from that. Like he really screwed himself.
And then what's funny is it's like, do you really think that some bunch of racist redneck guys are watching fucking what is that show he was on?
Oh yes, one of those shows on a streaming platform or whatever.
It's like it's
Empire.
The show is really about gay people in Chicago in the entertainment industry. Do you really think 4 redneck guys with MAGA hats on are gonna go out of their way to watch that show?
Dirty White Boy, I've seen that clip. Yeah, he's wearing the noose like an hour, like 30 minutes later in his apartment. He's just wearing the noose, just got the noose on. Just, I left it on. I love the story. He's going to Subway. Bro, you're going to Subway at like 3 a.m. That tells me way more about you than anybody else. Who's going to Subway at 3 a.m., bro? Like at least have some dignity. Hit the Taco Bell, dude. It's 3 a.m. Like just.
Oh, it's called Empire, by the way.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's his show.
Yeah. It's if I'm racist, I'm not watching that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No. It's just very goofy. That guy's a total goober, and he really fucked himself with that story. These people make up these stories, and it's just like, like I said, you're making up stories about getting your ass whooped. Like that's to me, that is everything you need to know about these people's mentality. Because like I said, 20 years ago, we all made up stories about how we whooped a bunch of people's asses. That's how it would have gone. Yeah, I ran into these racist homophobes. They're out there. It is a problem. But I whooped their ass. But these people nowadays want to get their asses whooped.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like the racist homophobes knew what empire was at all. Like, because they're all sitting around watching Jesus.
That's so ridiculous. Like, that's like the wise. Like, I could have told a better story than that. Like,
that's the thing. Most of these people, they didn't take any creative writing classes in school. It's like, bro, you've never written a story in your life.
mm-hmm.
Well, shit, fucking A. Who's even left in chat? Dirty White Boy's still here. Protomax, if I would assume you're like driving or something. Annie, you might have taken off. Liberty Twitcher probably got bored of us. Regardless, thanks for hanging out. No one ever hangs out on the Twitch. The Twitch is usually a lost cause. I just have it. I'm only asking because we're all through our topics. We actually did a pretty good quick run through the topics tonight.
Wow.
I think we got to figure out what's up with your headphones. I'm sure it's just that cord.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's the headphones. We do got to figure that out.
Yeah, it's got to be the cord. Tilt the microphone up.
Let's see. Hold on just a minute.
No, just like that. I just mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm always picky about this stuff, and I'm ridiculous.
No, you're good. Hold on.
And then, just talking to the side where the red light is.
Okay. Hello?
Yeah, just like that, yeah.
Okay, it's better. Okay, perfect.
Okay, Protomax, do it.
Yeah, man. Okay, so I have something like, since we kind of ran through the topics, I guess. What do you think? Do you believe in like the Illuminati or selling your soul to Satan and all that shit? Because everyone loves to talk about this topic, and I really want to know what you think.
I don't know. I always go back and forth. When it comes to the Illuminati, I don't buy into the big, like, they're this gang that can, gotta start racing stream. Yeah, Dirty White Boy, thanks for hanging out, dude. Are you gonna race on stream? Because if you do, then as soon as we're done here, I'm gonna hop over to your stream and get in chat. I have the mic and headphones, bro. No, Dirty White Boy, you're good with that. You're good with that. You use that. Keep using that mic for streaming. If I ever needed that mic back, I'd let you know. But no, you're good. Yeah, no, I don't know, because the Illuminati, like, I don't believe in the Illuminati that like runs the entire everything. But I do believe, there obviously was a fraternity called the Illuminati, and there was the Freemasons. And,
yeah, of course.
I do believe more in the devil. The part where I have trouble with like the devil is that I don't know if I believe in God. I feel like if you believe in the devil and demons, you have to believe in God. And I'm not entirely sure that I believe in God. When it comes to Christian God, I have Christian friends. I'm totally respectful of Christians. But I either don't believe in Christian Jesus, or I have kind of a second theory that I do believe he's real, but I don't think he's a good guy. I think he's more of a malevolent being. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I love the sort of stories. Like I love the story of Robert Johnson and the violin player back in the day. The devil.
Yeah.
I love all that shit. I have a copy of the Satanic Bible behind me, but Anton LaVey was a con artist. That guy was not a real Satanist anyways.
Yeah. You know what? I always say if I could sell my soul for a big contract and fame,
I'd do it.
Money, I would do it in a heartbeat. I'm like, where is this Satan guy in Hollywood?
Yeah.
You know what I believe? I believe in I think of it as a mystical thing. I think it's like more you sell your soul, meaning like, hey, give me, have sex with me, and then you can have like all the power and riches that I'm going to give you, that type of thing. Or, pledge allegiance to whatever society that's in Hollywood. And to me, that's the Illuminati. But and they do have obviously rituals and shit, but I don't actually believe it's doing anything. I just believe it's just a culture for them. Like you have up in NorCal, I think it's NorCal, Up in like San Francisco, you have the what are those guys? Bohemian Grove and all that shit.
Oh yeah.
Clearly real stuff where they're having rituals and shit like that, but I don't believe anything is happening. I think it's just a culture, just like going to church on Sunday for Christians is. Like, I don't really think it's that big of a difference. My belief on God is I'm really into, I would say, deism. And so it's kind of like the saying where it's like, if God is real, he can't be all powerful and all good. He has to be one or the other. If he's all powerful, he's definitely not a good guy because he's not using his power for good. And if he's all good, he can't be all powerful because clearly the way you look around the world, you don't see shit. You don't see anything good happening to people. You don't see like, oh man, I'm God, and someone's about to get their head blown off. If you were God, you would stop that. If you were all powerful, or you're all powerful and you just don't give a shit. And I believe that that's the belief in deism is that he created the universe, he, she, whatever, created the universe and just stepped away from it. Like, kind of like if we may create something and we just don't care about the morality of what's going on there or anything. We're just creation. And so to that, I believe that there could be, the demons and the ghost and all that shit and the devil and all that. There could be. I'm not going to say I know that there isn't. I don't believe so. But if there is, I believe that there is a certain thing that you can tap in Hollywood that we just don't know. Meaning, I believe that there's something that's scientific that I believe a lot of people in Hollywood that have, riches and power, they can tap into. And I don't know if they can, but I'm just saying I believe that is a thing. I believe rock and roll, just look at music. Like, the fact that we have all these ideas, like, where does that come from?
Yeah, it'd be good if Annie is not around, but Annie is like super into like magic and witchcraft and shit. I actually have
Dude, me and Annie got to hang out. I love witchcraft and shit. I love all that shit.
I have ingredients for I should do it. I have ingredients for a success spell that I was going to try to cast over the YouTube channel. Like, I've got like the candle and the weird little plant ingredients and stuff and the paper with the spell written out on it. I should try that. Try to cast a success spell for the YouTube channel. See if it works. But
I agree.
I guess deism would be a good way to put it. That's kind of like my thing where I was saying, if I do believe that Christian Jesus is real, I think there's a possibility that he's not a good guy. I think he could be a bad guy. I mean, dude, to me, so I've heard a theory. It's funny. It was actually a Ben Shapiro. It was a YouTube short. It was one of the shorts, like Ben Shapiro owns a college liberal kid. And so some college kid came up. It was Ben Shapiro was, taking questions, and he said, hey, if God is real, why doesn't he stop bad things from happening? Why doesn't he stop the innocent from being murdered and tortured and, all these bad things? And I couldn't believe it. This was Ben's answer. And I guess it's even like a thing, because he was saying there's like a term in Hebrew for it. And he was saying that God doesn't stop bad things from happening, because if God came down to earth and stopped all the bad stuff, and you saw this, right, it would be too easy to believe in him. So your faith in him wouldn't mean anything. And that was supposed to be like this big, like, oh, that proves that God is real. And I was like, to me, that sounds like how arrogant, how evil.
Very arrogant and evil.
And
like, you created me.
And then go back to the creation story. The creation story is essentially that God is sitting in heaven, this perfect place, all these angels worshiping him 24/7 nonstop. And he goes, you know what? It's not enough. I need to create an entire planet, maybe a universe for all we know, of sentient beings because I need to be worshipped. I need this whole race of humans that I'm going to create to worship me. But here's the kicker. I'm going to put them on a planet where it's physically impossible to prove that I exist. And if you don't believe in me, you go to hell. That sounds like an evil game.
Yeah. To add to that, he blames humanity for, like, oh man, humanity, dirty, rotten sinner. Just like, we didn't fucking ask for this. You're God, then you said you're all knowing, and you're purposely putting us on this earth, and then you know what's going to happen. And so you purposely put a tree in the middle of the garden that we should not eat. Why fucking put it there in the first place? Why? Like, are you just trying to test us? Are you just like this great director or this great producer that's like, oh, I want to see how this shit goes? And you're just, I like what, have you ever seen The Devil's Advocate?
No.
So there's this nice quote, and and I want to read it just really quick. Hold on. Let me see. It's God Scene, God Speech. And Al Pacino, he's like the guy, and I'm like, it's so good. And so he comes in. What's the Matrix guy? What's his name again?
Neo?
Yeah, Neo. Yeah, Neo. What's the guy's real name?
I don't know. I never saw The Matrix.
Oh yeah, well Neo, right? So
Yeah.
he comes in, and so Al Pacino, who is Satan on Earth, says, "Who are you carrying all those bricks for anyway? God. Is that it? God? Well, I'll tell you. Let me give you a little information about God. God likes to watch. He's a prankster. Think about it. He gives man instincts. He gives you this extraordinary gift, and then what does he do? I swear, for his own amusement, his own private cosmic gag reel, he sets the rules in opposition. It's the goof of all time. Look, but don't touch. Touch, but don't taste. Taste, but don't swallow. And while you're jumping from one foot to the next, what is he doing? He's laughing his sick fucking ass off. He's a tight ass. He's a sadist. He's an absentee landlord. Worship that never. And so he said, why not? I've been here on the ground with my nose in it since the whole thing began. I've nurtured every sensation man has inspired to have. I cared about what he wanted. I never judged him. Why? Because I never rejected him in spite of his all of his imperfections. So absentee landlord and like setting the rules in opposition, it's like God, he has to be a sadist. He's like, I see all this shit that they're going through, and I knew they were going to go through it.
I think
apparently God's like, with Noah's flood, I repent for making mankind. How could you repent if you're God? How could you regret something if you're God and you're all knowing? And then you say, well, Noah, he's righteous. Let me flood the whole universe. Let me flood the whole earth. And it still didn't fucking work because people are still fucked up. So tell me, like, that's my whole belief in this God thing. Is like the God of the Bible is just such a human understanding, I guess, of God. I don't believe that God at all, to be honest with you.
I think I liked the term prankster because that's what I think. Maybe wouldn't go so far as to say like, oh, he's evil, he's a bad guy, but I would say he's a trickster. Like he is the guy that's like, hey, believe in me or you go to hell. Oh, but there's a catch. It's physically impossible to prove that I exist on your planet. Right? There's always some kind of he's like a kid with a magnifying glass messing with ants. That's kind of I kind of think of him like in a jester costume. He just likes a good joke. He likes comedy. And he likes comedy at the expense of people. That's kind of what I think. If there is a Christian God, I think he's kind of a jokester. And then there's this author that I really like, Nicholas Schreck. I should ask him where he read about this, but he's talked about how apparently the devil, like Satan, in what he says is in reality, Satan is not God's number one enemy. Satan is friends with God, and Satan was given a job by God, and his job is to come to earth and kind of mess with people and tempt people. He's like the temptress. He's not actually like this big enemy, but apparently the Catholic Church needed like a big enemy, a big bad guy. So they took Satan, made him a bad guy. Whereas realistically, Satan is one of God's like right-hand men. He's like the guy that, he's like, hey, go down and test these motherfuckers, offer this guy a bunch of drugs. And if he says no, he's good, I'll bring him up here. But if he takes those drugs, I know not to fuck with him. I always thought that was interesting. But that's when I started thinking like, oh, maybe these characters in religion, like I could think of them a little bit differently than just, so that's when I started thinking like, oh, maybe there is a Christian God. But then if there is a Christian God and he's just like a trickster, then I would have to think that there's also other gods. Like that would mean I don't think there's
absolutely.
One.
Yeah, that's why I believe deism is the best thing. Most of the founding fathers were deists. It's like, that clearly there is some kind of like intelligent design to the universe. The fact that the moon is perfect, the sun is perfect,
I
the
do
earth
think there's
is perfect,
more.
and nothing can like one wrong move on the earth tilting or the moon or the sun or the planets. Like we're fucked. The fact that our body system is set up the way it is, clearly there's an intelligent design, but to say that this guy is a good guy and he's sending his son to die on the cross and all this other nonsense, it's just, to me, it's humans trying to figure out this being. And I feel like the true God is whatever's out there. And this is how when I'm having my hard moments, Like,
all
anything I
the
love it.
arms.
But when I'm having my like tough moments, like mentally, I'm always like, whatever's out there, I need some kind of guidance, give me wisdom. And it helps me a lot. It helps me to pray, quote unquote, or pray like that, because I believe that there's something in this universe that actually can help if you really are eager to reach out to it. But to give it a name, to give it a culture, to give it a gender, to give it anything would mean it's not actually God. Because if it's actually God, it has no restrictions of what humans or Earth or the universe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I definitely do believe that there is more out there. I believe in ghosts. I think people die and they come back here as ghosts. I'm not entirely sure what I think the rules are, like when you die. I am very scared of the idea of nothing happens when you die. That actually does
Very
scare
scared.
that
Very
scares
scared.
I don't even like thinking about that. That scares the shit out of me, to think that, like, not even just the blackness of being asleep, but just nothing. Like I can't even, we can't even fathom that, because we've only ever
Yes.
been alive. So that scares the shit out of me. I like the idea of reincarnation. I like to think, when I die, I'll get to, go be someone else, or be myself in, some other body, or something. I also love the idea. My dream would be to just be a ghost. I would love to just be put right back here on Earth, and I can just float around and hang out in my ex-girlfriend's bedroom and watch her get undressed. That's what I would do. I would just go hang out in girls' locker rooms.
Yeah.
I would just, I'd just go get into a relationship with my ex-girlfriend, and she wouldn't know it because I'm a ghost, but I'd just be holding her hand all the time. Shit like that. That's what I would hope to do. Yeah,
Absolutely.
the idea of just nothing. It's just nothing at all.
Yeah.
Just like,
It's
dude.
not just because people think nothing is you close your eyes and that's nothing. It's like, no conscious, nothing, zero. Like, you're not even, like, just nothing. And to me, and I want to even freak you guys out a little bit more, if you don't mind. Like, so the belief in God, right? People say God created the universe. Okay, so who created God? How could God always exist? That's terrifying. How could God always be there? How could there be no beginning? Now, here's the opposite terrifying one. There is no God, but how did the universe come from nothing? What was nothing? What was before the universe, before the Big Bang Theory or whatever? Where the fuck did that come from? Like, how could it be? What was nothing? Was it just outer darkness? Where did the fucking outer darkness come from? That
Yeah, I've never been able to get into that idea.
Dude, that fucking scares the shit. Both are terrifying. Equally as terrifying is there could be a God that always existed, and you don't know, and your mind can't comprehend what was before that. And there is no God, and your mind still can't fucking comprehend what was before fucking the Big Bang happened. Because what material, matter and all that energy, what was before that? What was before that? How was that possible to have that? Both of those things make me fucking go crazy.
Yeah, no, I've never been able to. I don't give a fuck about science. I cannot get into the idea of the Big Bang. Just there was nothing and it just exploded, and here we are. No, yeah, fucking right. Like, I can believe in a God more than I can believe in the Big Bang Theory, honestly.
Absolutely.
But yeah, no, I do. The idea of karma has always been interesting to me, because by the way, I'm gonna get out of here in like
Cool.
Not like 5 to 7 minutes. Be pretty close to 8. Dirty White Boy, you will notice I have yet to change the outro, so your name is still in the credit of the outro. I still need to make an outro.
What happened to my name? What's going on here? Just kidding.
I need to put it in there. I have a new intro that I'm considering using. I actually will send it to you, Johnny, to see if you like it. A new intro, and then I'll try to start working on an outro sometime soon and just put your name in it. Yeah, no, I don't know. The whole religion thing. I like the idea of karma, but if karma's real, I'm pretty sure I'm doomed to a miserable life for the rest of my life. I've done some shit, and I joke about this and talk about this on stream. Like, I've done some shit that I like cannot talk about. Like, there are people in the world, like, I have actually a fear. If we hit like 1 million subscribers tomorrow, there are people who could show up in my live chat and ruin my entire fucking like life or career. And although I say that, I am uncancelable though, because I don't give a shit. If somebody came in my comments and said, hey, I was there when you did that, I'd be like, yeah, fuck yeah, motherfucker. But realistically, if karma is real, I'm pretty set for having a bad life for the rest of my days. I was pretty bad in my mid-20s. I was doing some pretty
You're a
bad
bad
shit.
boy, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I was definitely treating some people like shit.
Man.
But yeah, I don't know, dude. Just the idea of dying and just fucking nothing. But then there's also a part of me that's like, oh, that sounds nice to just not have to think about shit anymore. Like, I don't have to deal with, I don't have to fucking think about that dumb shit I said to my ex-girlfriend's mom 10 years ago.
What if your ex-girlfriend's watching right now, man? What would happen to you? What would
She's not. She's not. She did, like I talked about, she did like on the Instagram page when I posted that Ozzy Osbourne, the meme about his death. She liked it, but I don't think she knew it was me because I'm not in that post. It was just the Ozzy meme. But she liked she liked that shit. I saw the notification. I was fucked up for like a week, just being like, oh fuck, my ex-girlfriend just liked my. No, she definitely probably doesn't know that I live stream. If she does, she's not gonna sit around and watch it. She's pretty good, well moved on at this point.
Okay.
But what if she were? I don't know if she was. I don't know. She would know that I'm pathetic and that I talk about her so much that I have to name her Calamity Jane and basically make her a side character on the stream.
You're not pathetic, man. You're a good guy. Come on.
I do think of it as kind of to me. It is also. It's kind of a funny little character thing I like to do. I like to be that guy that's like I love those. There's a page on Instagram called Just Missing Her, and it's just all about posts about missing your ex. And there are all these funny things. Like, my favorite conspiracy theory is that she still misses me. I think that shit's hilarious. But no, Protomax, to me, it seemed like something like she was just scrolling. She was doom scrolling and she saw it and she liked it and then scrolled on. It's kind of the impression that I got. I almost feel like if she saw the page, like.
Well, what if she saw the Tommy Lee thing that went like fucking viral?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she could have seen that. I don't know. I think she would just see it. She wouldn't be surprised. I've been talking about doing stuff like this. When I was with her, we were supposed to start talking about I wanted to do a pro wrestling YouTube channel with her because she was hot and I got her into pro wrestling, and there's no hot girls talking about wrestling on the internet.
I would disagree with that. TikTok has a few good ones.
That is true, but as far as like YouTube shows, like
like full 40-minute, correct, yeah.
So that was going to be my thing with her. I was like, oh, let's start a fucking wrestling YouTube channel and like talk about wrestling. She thought Roman Reigns was hot. That was my way to get her into wrestling. And then she started taking me we went to live shows. We go see SmackDown and Raw and shit. But so it's not like she'd be surprised. She'd be like, oh yeah, this is something that Becky's always wanted to do anyways. She'd probably get, I don't know. I mean, there's just probably some things on here I've said that she'd get mad about. I never say anything bad about her. I have nothing bad to say about her. Most of my ex-girlfriends, I'm pretty cool about. Most of my ex-girlfriends put up with a lot of shit for me. I was a pretty terrible person to most of my girlfriends. So nowadays I'm usually like, I usually have only good things to say about ex-girlfriends. And I do have a couple exes that I joke about missing. Like, one of my favorite ex-girlfriends is this girl named Cassidy. I was only with her for like a couple of months, but I just had a lot of fun with her. She'd probably, I don't know, maybe she'd be pissed if I was on here talking about her. I mean, nobody knows. We're anonymous, basically. Nobody.
Hey, dude, you're rock and roll, man. This is what happens.
Well, I'm always saying I don't name drop people. I mean, I know I just do, but I don't name drop people generally because it feels pathetic because I have like 650 subscribers. Like, if I was sitting here talking shit about an ex-girlfriend and she found this, she would say, he's got 600 subscribers. He's a fucking nobody, and he's still talking about me. What a loser. Once I hit 10K, though,
then it's like, fuck you.
Then I'm name dropping. I don't give a shit because now I'm rock and roll. I can say what I want. But realistically, I still, I'd be nice to my ex-girlfriend.
Yeah. I always have the fake names. I love that.
I've had this idea. I would love to do a ranking, like a list, just ranking, because I have a list of my favorite ex-girlfriends, like favorite to least favorite, as far as like.
I have a suggestion for the next show. I wanted to talk about the band Taylor.
Oh, you mean Jailer?
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, we can say it. Yeah, Jailer. Yeah. I'll look more into
next show. I wanted to talk about it because I have a lot of fucking things to say.
Okay, I'm down. They're basically the new Greta Van Fleet. They're going through their Led Zeppelin phase.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down. Yeah, fucking A. We had a good run. We had a good run. Yeah, but next week we'll talk about that band. I think they're probably just really young. They need to grow up, and I'm sure they'll grow out of their Led Zeppelin cover band phase, basically.
And they go into the 80s.
Yeah, they
watch the Dirt for the first time, and they're like, "Yeah, Molly."
They just switch over to Def Leppard or something. But yeah, shit.
Man.
Yeah, same thing as always. We'll look for topics. Just keep your eye out. I'll keep my eye out for more. I didn't find a lot this week. I got lucky with the Becky Lynch thing popping off on Monday, and the Taylor Swift thing happening yesterday. So that worked out. But yeah, I'll try to find some more topics again for next week. Same with you. Always keep your eye out for stuff.
Of course.
I need to start working on some other stuff. Like I was working on I've been talking about working on a 16 Candles videos for months, and I still am working on it. I'm just slow with that stuff. But
16 Candles.
Yeah, I fucking love that movie.
Yeah.
My main thing is I have a problem with everybody that covers it loves to talk about, oh, it's aged poorly, it's so inappropriate, and I'm like, you guys are pussies. Just talk about the fucking movie.
What they would say age appropriately. One of my favorite ones is God damn it, the one where they create the fake girl in the 80s.
What's that?
You remember they use they're like two nerds, and then they create this like really beautiful girl. Oh, Weird Science. That's one of my favorites. Yeah.
I haven't seen that shit in years.
That's
one
of my favorites.
I don't believe. Maybe we could toss this in next week.
Yeah, let's do that.
I've said this before. I don't believe that art ages poorly. I don't believe that's a thing.
Yeah.
I think art stays the same as the day it was when it came out, but we age around art, and people choose to be offended by things. Hey, Cole, what's up? Cole, have you been here, or are you just not showing up? Because if you're just not showing up, I feel bad. We're about to get off. I'd imagine you've been here, but I know you can't always comment because you're on your Xbox, not on my X from 3 years ago. It's a real problem because I've been my current relationship for 2 years. That is awesome. That is awesome. Remember, if the ex ever calls you back, you dip out of the current relationship immediately. You just say, sorry, nice try. I'll see you around. No, but all right, right on. Do you have anything else to add?
No, I'm good, man. Yeah, let's just make it next week. We're gonna be packed, and then next week also, I'm gonna really deck out the room too. So it's gonna be really fucking nice, man.
Yeah, hell yeah, that'll be a good time. So I'll mute us up. Oh, Cole just showed up. I feel bad, Cole. We're getting off. So
come by next week. Next week, man. It's gonna be dope.
Yeah, come by next week. I mean, Cole's always here. Cole can't always comment. He watches on Xbox, so with the controller, I assume is what he's saying. We can't always comment. Nice. So sometimes he's lurking in the shadows, but we talk on Instagram. I know Cole personally. I know there's someone that I know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right on. I'll mute us up. I'll hit the outro, and then this time you can just get off when the outro starts or whatever.
Okay, sounds good, man.
Right on. Good time.
Good time. Rock and roll.
And we're all here today to groove and have a beautiful time together, and that it's only the beginning.